Hello, and welcome to the next video for our Convergent Wealth Partners video series for the week of April 27th. This week, as normal, I'm going to cover what's been going on in the markets over the last week, as well as what we see coming in the week ahead. I also hope you are liking the new set that we put together, and also I hope you all like my latest shutdown haircut that I did last night. Buzzed it myself, and I'm not sure if I'm going to go back to getting haircuts outside of home. So we'll see. Looking forward to be able to make that choice sometime soon. So with that, let's jump into what we've seen going on in the markets and economy. So last week, the market was down 1.3%. But it wasn't a smooth ride to get there as we've been accustomed to lately. So the beginning of the week saw some more negative news and the markets were down quite a bit. And then we saw at the end of the week things pick back up, mostly, in my opinion at least, related to hopes around the lockdowns being ended and cures, or at least treatments for the coronavirus advancing. So that's what we saw from particularly to the markets. But some of the data that did come out around unemployment, on last Thursday we saw 4.3 million new claims for unemployment, which brings the total for the last 5 weeks to over 25 million unemployment claims, new unemployment claims. And that basically wipes out all of the job growth that we saw from 2008 and 9 to now. In addition to that, the continuing claims were 16 million, which is more than twice as high that we saw at the peak of the 08-09 crisis. So while there is some good news about the economy opening back up, a lot of damage has already been done, which is obviously concerning. So we'll have the next number on that coming this Thursday. The other big headline that I got a lot of questions around was oil. How did oil, or why did oil prices go negative early last week? And so I wanted to walk you guys through some of the reasons that if you just look at the data, it can kind of explain why and how that could possibly happen. So the first part of that is demand. So with the coronavirus, not only in the United States, but around the globe, most of the economies were basically fully shut down for weeks, if not months at a time. And with that, nobody was driving cars, nobody was flying. And so, that led to a large drop in the demand for oil. But even that was already starting to happen before we got to the shutdown. So demand was a big issue. The other side of that is supply. So over the last number of years, because of low interest rates and the ability to invest capital in producing oil, the amount of supply of oil has gone to all-time record highs. And then you combine that with in early March, as some of the news was first coming around the coronavirus, Saudi Arabia and Russia could not come to an agreement on oil price cuts and basically turned it into an oil price war and even increased the amount of production that was happening in March. So that then led to the issues with storage. So around the globe, there's a number of storage facilities for oil, but they're all at now around 85% of their peak capacity. And some of the news I've been reading is that they may even be at full capacity by June. So you put all that together, and in April, there was contracts expiring for oil delivery in May. And I think there's a number of speculators that basically got caught realizing that they would have to take delivery and there was no place to store it. So basically they had to sell that contract and get out of that contract for any price, even being willing to pay to get out of that contract. So that's effectively what happened last week with oil and why it went so negative. If you look out over the rest of the year, in terms of the futures contracts for delivery in future months, oil prices are still mostly between $20 and $30 a barrel right now. But this week, early in the week, prices for the June delivery have now dropped below $15 per barrel. So there is a chance we could see something similar for the June delivery as well, as still, even as economies start to open back up a little bit, we're still going to not see a lot of uptick in demand for oil anywhere in the very near future. So still some concerns coming on that around oil. So those are the big headlines for last week. This week's going to be a very busy week with data coming out. We've got a lot of corporate earnings, especially the big name companies in the S&P 500. Tuesday, Wednesday are going to be very busy days with earnings announcements. We're also going to have the first estimate on GDP for the first quarter, as well as the next unemployment numbers coming out on Thursday. So lots of information there, but we're also getting a lot of news around the economy opening back up. So we'll continue to hear more from states and other countries around the globe starting to loosen restrictions and trying to get the economies back going again. So that to me is a lot of the reason we've seen the market perform as well as it has in the last number of weeks. But the word for me still is caution. It's the same word I've been using on the last number of videos. We're still cautious. There's still a lot of data to come. And I think a lot of it is going to be challenging news and challenging information that even as we get the economy back going again, there's definitely going to be some headwinds to getting things back to where they were. And just where the market is now, it's about price as expensive as it's ever been. And so it just leaves me some level of concern, and which is why we're going to remain cautious in our portfolios for now. So with that, some other things coming up this week that you will see. This coming Thursday, we'll be doing our next Zoom happy hour. We're going to have Joseph Schaub. He's a relationship therapist in Bellevue, Washington, and he's going to be talking about how to keep your relationships healthy while the world is sick. That's going to be the title of the conversation that we're going to be having. And I posted some of this in Facebook, and based on some of the comments I've been seeing from friends and family and other connections on Facebook, I think this is something that is really timely. Being home so long with kids, being home so long and stuck has created a lot of potential tension, and this will be a great opportunity to have some tips on how to ease things up a little bit. And then in a couple of weeks, so out on May 7th, we're also going to be doing a tax update. So I'm going to have a local CPA, Scott Lamoli, is going to be coming on and talking about what are the key questions he's been getting from his clients so far through tax season. What do all the extensions mean that we've been coming out and seeing? And we'll also be talking back and forth a little bit about some of the updates to the CARES Act, which included the Paycheck Protection Program, the EDIL program, so things for business owners to try to help keep the lights on. So we'll be talking a lot more about those things as well. So keep an eye out for our newsletter that'll be coming out via email, which will detail out all of those things, including links to past videos, any updates that we wanted to keep you aware of, as well as invites and registration links to our upcoming videos. So with that, I hope you guys all have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you.